start talking, and he's great. He's like, knows this, and then as soon as he comes on, it's like he knows. He just
doesn't have the feel. It's intimidated by the light of the mic.
Something. Might be Larry. Larry's very intimidating. When he starts tilting his head, looking at you,
I don't look at him.
That's good. That's good.
You said a couple things today. Usually you said
sometimes shows. I would have, with the number, I would have had to gone with Trippy.
Huh?
With the number, I would have had to gone with Charlie Trippy.
Of course you
Sure.
would.
But then again, I have my mom's autograph book, and he's in it 5 times. Because she used to run around the field when he used to play.
Got everything you need?
Perfect. Who was the first person to win a Heisman Trophy at a current SEC school?
Hillary Clinton.
How did you know that?
Who was it?
That's the question. Who is it?
the first person to win a Heisman Trophy at an SEC.
Heisman Trophy list
Might be.
winners.
Might be Trippy.
Same time, Area.
Heisman Trophy went to Travis Hunter in 2024 and Faith Sanders.
Same time.
We didn't. You guys did you guys break down the whole Shador Sanders fiasco on one of the shows?
The what?
For the draft portion, yes, a little bit.
Yeah.
The answer for the oldest person to win SEC went to the same high school as my dad, Cheney High School in Youngstown, Ohio. Frankie Sinkowicz won the Heisman Trophy in 1942. So here's a little itty bitty school in Youngstown, Ohio, and where did he go to school? Georgia. And it's like, you don't think about people making
Not
the
at that-
jump
not
at
at
that.
that time.
Not at that point.
No, I mean, no, not at.
I got a question that really fooled me today. When did Montreal move to Washington?
The mid-90s.
Huh?
The Expos,
Mid-90s.
Say 02.
because they got screwed on a strike year because they were going to win the.
That was
title.
94.
That was Pedro Martinez, right?
And the big unit. And they had such a deep team. They had
That was
Galarraga,
crazy.
or Larry Walker. They had Larry Walker that year.
Yeah. And then they
And
moved.
Galarraga too, wasn't he?
I think Galarraga had just left that particular year.
They were sick.
05.
05?
05?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, 02 or something.
I thought it was earlier than what Larry said. I can't believe they've been gone that long. From Park
Now,
Jerry.
when we played them in the World Series in the 90s, they were in Montreal.
They never have been to a World Series in the 90s. Expos only had one good year, and the strike said, it's like the Braves. We won 15 straight division championships, except for that one that you don't count where you were not going to get it.
So, over under after the All-Star game or after the season? Because I don't think you get fired before the All-Star game. Snicker.
There's a billion different ways you can look at it, and who knows how they're looking at it. But at the end of the day, the only reason why you don't fire somebody, in my book, is you think something could play out, or or whatever. What is it that you see playing out? There's nothing where you go, well, once Acuna and Strider get back, no, Acuna's hitting everything out of the park. He's batting .350, and you're still not winning.
They've got to have the highest run differential, though, of any team that's ever been 9 games under 500.
Oh, absolutely.
That's crazy.
I was last Thursday, so I host now on Thursday, and I just had just a whirlwind of a day. It was just like it was back and forth, just a lot of bullshit. And I was like, all right, well, and I was like, let me look at, I was on the phone, I was talking to Brenda at the office, and it was like 2:40 or 2:45, and I was getting ready to walk in now, and I was like, well, I said, hey, she's like, hey, at least the Braves are winning. I'm like, that's good. Oh, they're up like that. They're up good. And then I'm at now, and Sharon's just like, Sharon loses her
Baya, yeah.
shit in the middle of it. She's like, the Braves lost. And I'm like, no, they did not. And they're like, no, they did. I'm like, unbelievable. So give up the 7-run.
But you know they.
And then lose on a wild pitch. And then lose on a 2-out,
And then they
2-strike
lost
home
2
run.
games against the Giants in 1 run. It's like, what the hell?
Walk off, blow up. I mean,
And it was
it's
weird because-
mind-boggling.
And I actually went to the Braves Red Sox game, the one that they won. And they looked awesome that game. They just lit it up. But that was it. That was the end of that.
That was the day.
That was the day. It's like the one day you're like, oh.
I don't think Snicker will get fired this year.
Do you think he'll be the head coach to start next year? Is that what you're saying?
The manager? No, I think it might lose after the season, but I don't
Okay,
think they'll fire him during the year.
Yeah, I don't think, You
How weird
can't
is it that
finish-
they-
You can't finish last in that division.
You can't finish 4th. If the Nationals are in front of you, you are bad. Bad. Now, is some of it an indictment on Double-A and the shit that he's put in that locker room? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, you still have to start somewhere. And right now, I don't believe that team is very optimistic about winning each day. That old Bobby Cox philosophy, let's win 2 out of 3. Don't worry about sweeping. Don't worry about
Just get 2 or 3.
2 or 3. You win 2 out of 3, you have 110 wins at the end of the season.
Now it's like maybe we win 1.
Yeah, well, and then even when you're there, you're like, might not be this one. We're only up by 4 with 2 outs to go.
I bet they wish they had Max Fried back.
Well,
He turned it up.
I do agree.
But
I
that'll
like-
blow
I like
up.
it.
That'll blow up still.
I like it's like if you keep them, believe you have something. So tell us what that is. So
Well, and I believe Max Fried will come back down to the guy who we let go, not the all-star that we always thought we would have. But it's very similar for me as the Kyle Pitts conversation.
Well,
if you keep him, he's gonna suck. If you let him go,
He's gonna suck.
yeah, it is.
well, and there's just some guys, but for whatever reason, it's like I remember when the Patriots spent all that money on Johnny Smith because he thrived, and he sucked awful. And then he comes to Atlanta, and he was better than Kyle Pitts. And then he goes,
Right. He's actually had a pretty good
He's had a
last
great-
5 years. I mean, once again, being a fantasy geek,
he's a guy that
when you rank tight ends, he's not in your top 5, but he's going to produce like a top 5, and you get him way later. He's been good.
If you're not going to go and get, I was just looking at some initial stuff for fantasy. And it's like, if you're drafting 11 or 12 and you don't take the number 1 tight end, you might as well just wait until whatever's left.
And Kyle
Tight end's
Pitts,
weird.
Kyle Pitts, that pick reminded me of the Hawks, because like when we should have taken what was the point guard out of Wake Forest that we didn't get? Chris Paul. Chris Paul was available, but instead of taking Chris Paul, we skipped on him, and we went with the 6'7" swing man from North Carolina. It's like, what position does he play? I don't know, but he's really athletic, and that's all that people. He's very athletic. Okay, well, but at some point, being athletic doesn't guarantee that you'll be a good player.
Was it Kyle Pitts or Drake London that we should have taken Jalen? from Philly.
Jalen Hurts.
No, the guy, the monster from Georgia.
Oh, that was when we took Penix.
No, the year before.
So it would have been
Jalen
Drake.
Carter, when he went to Philly, where we had the opportunity.
We could have taken Jalen Carter. We took Penix at number 8. The Eagles were at 10, and the Eagles traded up to the 9th pick because they did not want to take a chance anybody else would take that guy. It's horrible. But
Well, we got 2 quarterbacks.
But at the end of the thing, are the Eagles the favorite? Yes, because they keep drafting good guys on defense. It doesn't matter how. Yeah, Saquon's this and this and that. But their defense.
The Eagles are the
is great.
favorite. Way too early for me to think about that. But I don't know. The Commanders.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen. But when you look at it, they check a lot of boxes.
They do. The Commanders are going to be fun to look at. I mean, of course, you got to look at Kansas City, Buffalo. I do like Baltimore. I don't like Baltimore, but I do like Baltimore.
Baltimore seems. I remember watching the very first game last year. I can't remember who it was against.
Kansas
but
City. Was it?
I don't think it was. But in the first quarter, they went Henry to the left, Henry to the left, Henry to the right. Fake to Henry on the right. There goes Lamar. And I watched like 6 plays, and I was like, they should go undefeated. as long as you keep mixing this up, I don't care if you're flipping cards,
They're
whatever.
fun, man. They're fun to watch.
And then they stopped doing that, and they did win. But
They're fun. But the thing that's cool about the NFL, there's always 3 or 4 teams that be in the playoffs that weren't last year, and 3 that come out. So that's always the fun part. So it's always it's trying to who would those 3 be? I'd like to think Atlanta could be one of them.
it would be interesting to see. I saw where what's his name went. I think the Chargers could be really good. I hate Captain Khaki. But the guy builds a good roster, and they lost their running back, which was the Baltimore guy, J.K. Dobbins. Mm-hmm. He just signed with the Broncos, and I look
J.K.
at that
Dobbins
one,
did?
J.K. Dobbins, and I look at that one, and I'm like, he's been injured, he's got a couple years in a row where he's been healthy, and if
Who was
J.K.'s
the running
running the
back
ball,
that just signed with Houston?
I do not know. I have to download.
Oh,
my-
Chubb.
Chubb just signed with Houston.
I got a buddy who's a Big 12 referee, been on the show a few times. He went to UGA, and he sent me a thing, and it was Chubb doing workouts, and he's got those blocks, and he's jumping. Chubb is jumping 3 feet in the air as he's like got weights on his shoulder. He's like, "Are you telling me this guy doesn't have a team yet?" It's like he's a beast.
He's a beast.
And that could be huge for Houston. Didn't you? Man, I wish we'd have talked more about the Patriots. I just thought about your new boy.
The new running back?
No, new wide receiver, Stephon.
Oh, I'm surprised you didn't bring that up.
I made a mistake.
Yeah, I was ready for it.
I'm sure you were. I don't know what your answer would have been for it, but I've heard that there's a chance they let him go.
Yeah, they could. We'll see how
if you're on a boat with 3 scantily dressed women and you pull a pink
bag. I think it was amino acid.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was something a protein, energy supplement for his protein drink that he was offering those three girls in bikinis.
Well, that'll be an interesting. We'll just see how that plays through, because Vrabel's that kind of guy where it's like there is a sign where, because I watched.
You're right. Vrabel is that guy.
I've been listening to the minicamp reports from them, and basically he addressed the media yesterday. Diggs did, and he was like, "Look, talk to coach about it. We're all on the same page. Got to take care of what's business. We're moving on." And so we'll see.
Well, he's so limited at what he can say. He can't go, "Yeah, I did have a big bag of blow." all he can say is, I had a conversation with the coach, but like you said, Vrabel is that old school where not in my house.
We'll see.
I can see it.
Now, these guys, man, it's like
New England
we
come
can't
here, or
even-
do we go to New England this year?
Atlanta goes to New England. We'll see, because it's like, when you're that age and you got all that money, you're partying like rock stars, man.
I saw a really funny video from when Diggs was in Minnesota. And it's Kirk Cousins walking around the locker room, and he walks up to the first guy, and he's like, "Who is the one person on this team that's not allowed to date your sister?" And the guy looks at the camera, and he's like, "What are you talking about?" Diggs. and then they go to the next guy, and the next guy's like, Diggs. And then the last one is Thielen. And, Cousins goes up to Thielen, and they're like, "Hey, who's the one guy who's not allowed to date your sister?" And he's like, "Diggs ain't even allowed in the same city." So, this is so many years ago, but he already had that for that. So,
Yeah, I don't.
kind of fun.
I can't say I love the picking him up, whatever. We'll see.
He was great for
They
Buffalo.
don't have a true one. They still don't have one.
Correct.
They don't have a one, and they don't have and their offensive line is better than last year, but that's not saying much because their offensive line.
Diggs is a 2. That you need at least 2 2s. If you can't have a 1, you got to have at least 2 2s so you can at least confuse
Well, when you
a little
brought
bit.
up the Chad McConkey, Patriots could have drafted him last year, and they took Jalen Polk.
I might go up to that game.
You might go.
Yeah, now that Chip lives in Boston.
That'd be a fun one.
What's that breakfast you were telling me about?
Huh?
You said you're having breakfast at some point with Chris and
Yeah, Angie Blank.
yeah.
Week from Tuesday,
Might-
23rd.
Well, gentlemen, you guys have a great second show. Thanks for letting me
Good
jump
seeing you.
first,
See you,
as
buddy.
always. We'll see y'all soon. Maybe I'll see you Thursday.
Hey, do some fantasy homework.
Need to. Just getting that time. Be fun.
Ready to roll?
I always love the strategy. I'll see how it really depends on when you get your. We don't know. We don't know.
We
until
have
the
no
next-
idea. And you can't have a strategy. Even the strategy. I had somebody asking me about baseball the other day, right? And because right now, my baseball team's really fucking good. And they were like, "Well, I mean, did you want him?" I'm like, I kind of come up with a list of a bunch of people I like and a bunch of people I don't like. But you never know what you're going to get until it all starts going together. So,
And it takes one person that picks out of order or picks out or goes and grabs somebody that they want,
correct.
and then you're like, oh, well, that person's here, and I didn't think they would do the same.
The very first draft, you weren't in the league the very first year, were you? So the very first year, there's a nice lesbian girl who is a Patriots fan, and she takes Brady with the 4th pick. Well, I had the 12th pick. So as of the 4th pick, I knew I was getting somebody I shouldn't. It's like somebody else do something.
No, she took Joe Burrow.
Somebody else took Burrow. She took Brady. What's his name? Longacre took Burrow because he's a Cincinnati guy, and so that's what it was. It was a Burrow and a Brady got taken. Well, it's like I had all sorts of gold fall to me, and that's what.
And Brady, where does he? He never really. I mean, we probably had a couple good fantasy years.
He was a very solid fantasy quarterback, but not anything
He
that you
ran.
would take.
Not what you take number 4. He'd be a guy that'd be like. I mean, unless you had all New England guys,
Which nobody wants to lose that badly. What do you want? I'm going to draft all Patriots. Good luck.
Well, and there's some people too that like, if you get some people like if you have a lot of like I'm on one league with a friend of mine, and they're all probably 8 of them live in Connecticut, so they know all of the NFC East guys, and stuff, but they might not know the AFC West or the NFC South guys.
And on a team like that, in a league like that, I mean, there's a higher probability that somebody's going to pick somebody who's a patriot before they're supposed to. You know, same way that
Because they know they're like, I
well,
don't know who
because
to pick, so
that's who I'm rooting for anyway. That's who I want to go. My buddy Mike, who comes on the show sometimes, he's a Seattle guy, so he's in this crazy 3-keeper league and
Okay,
da-da-da.
so he's
And,
got
and
these-
he'll say stuff all the time. He's like, oh yeah, you know, I know DK Metcalf is going early, you know, way before he should, because it's what people want to
And
see.
that's part of the fun of
is.
it
It is.
because it's your team. You know? All right, guys.
Safe travels, buddy. See you soon.
Enjoy your night.
See you
You
soon.
too. Thank you, Sean.
Ooh, got the 5-year shirt on.
He
Worn that 5 shirt for 3 years.
That's it.
They don't have
That's the first time I ever noticed that it said 5 years.
I've seen it probably the whole time. I think he's closer to 10.
Oh, I'm not surprised that I have not noticed it yet. Not my forte. So how'd you like it? Not too shabby.
Need to remember next time to take out all the junk I don't like.
Really, the only thing I don't like in this is the tomatoes.
I don't need the broccoli.
No, with the broccoli. Well, luckily for you, the broccoli's in big pieces.
Yeah. Mushrooms I'm hit or miss on.
You know, I never ate mushrooms. Second date I ever went out with Stormy. We went to Agatha's dinner in a murder mystery, right? So we show up and it's, you know, a 7 or 8 course meal. You know, they just keep bringing you food. So we get there a little late before it starts, but people have been there for a while, and they had appetizers over in the corner, right? So I went over in the corner. I don't know shit from chat, right? I see these little breaded things, right? And I was like, dang, these little things are good. What do you call them? Stormy's like, mushrooms. Do you not know what a mushroom is? Oh yeah.
You sent it to me.
So
Is that your profile picture now?
so no.
I
So
told my dad you were gonna get banned on Facebook.
So let me show you this aspect. So, I sent this showing my trivia, and that's why that's why they and so this is the funny part. Do you know Brian Purcell?
Yeah, I love Brazil.
So Purcell goes and he sends me this right off the bat, and
Hold up, it's not pulling up. Yeah, he sent me this yesterday. I was like, oh my god.
sent you what?
You should take a picture of that and send it in
Send a picture of what?
Yeah, exactly.
Hold on. Let's see if we can get both of our. Please. No. Give him a dime. Ah. Well,
Here you go.
that's it.
Open your mouth.
Oh my God. Hold on. Let's go back to that. That's good.
There you go.
No, I want you to open your mouth. There we go. And yeah, we'll send that over right now and see what happens.
Let me know, please.
That's funny. It's an app where it adds a big black dick to your nose. I will be there by 9, but you can put the keys underneath the floor mat on the driver's side, and it will be fine until I get there. We can go sideways on that. Get so we just, I just took this prescription and sent it to his dad. Is that a great picture? I just think that's amazing.
It's amazing. Well, I mean, they're it's all programmed and stuff. They just figured it out. I can remember back in the 90s, first progress, ears on and stuff. You know, that's the last thing that now it's just it's ridiculous.
What's happening? How you doing, Chuck? I'm gonna just switch across the way. You good?
See, all the fans up here.
But they actually, they're the ones that came up with the term.
Don't you know that they call her by her name? All right, got the whole staff. Now we gotta do a little more homework. That's cool though. You know, nice having her on, but having the staff on gets the numbers up and everything. And so I was going to send a picture or something out on my Facebook feed in the next whatever, telling people to like, right?
Yeah.
Like this and like this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do both shows.
Yeah, right.
Because on the Owls, we've done pretty good getting the following. In order to that number.
And what number? I was looking, but I can't see how many followers we have. I don't think.
No, you've liked our page, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I need to figure out how to make you an admin, so then you'll be able to see those numbers.
Right. But how many roughly do you think?
The Owls, we have, let's say 300.
Okay.
3 guys for less than 100. I got to break 100 before we get the stats.
I got you.
So if we can get
Larry,
3
they're
guys.
trying to pull it up OwlsWhoLiveSports, right?
Right, yeah.
Hey, can I ask you something? Why'd you give me that little goober for and then not give me the...
I forgot to give you the thing. I
don't-
set it up, I handed it to you, then Sean came and took our orders.
Yeah.
And I got.
I don't need it for this show.
And I saw it halfway through when it was on, burning battery. And I realized.
Blake, you want to do it tonight or you want to wait until next week? Okay, that's fine. There's not much to talk about today. We're just going to talk about the track meet. You want to do a couple of commercials first to get it out of the way?
Sure.
Hey, Larry, we're going to do the first 2 commercials first to get them out of the way. Brian's such a good dude. He wrote me a nice note on Facebook.
What's that?
Said Brian Russo's such a good guy.
Yep.
Are you pulling up their names and stuff?
2 of them don't have pictures, so we're working off of that. But we have Octavia, we have Keisha. Was that Chris?
That's Chris, the guy.
Okay, and then I'm guessing she was Sherry.
Sherry Tucker. So there's the one. What order are you going to do them in?
You want to say blue for last, or you want to do blue
I'll do her
first?
first.
Okay. Then I think then we just go assistant head. So she's ranked higher than them because it's assistant head. So she would go second, and then third and fourth.
That's fine. So Keisha is second.
Keisha's second.
Hey, maybe since we got 2 months, maybe we leave Coach Blue on the whole time. What do you think about that? And bring the assistants on.
One at a time with her.
Yeah.
You can do that. Yeah.
So what we're going to do, we're going to have Octavia on the whole show.
Did you like that picture of yours?
Yes. One at a time instead of the second mic.
Okay.
When we're ready for what?
The music to stop. I was about to tell you. Because of these new things on the table, they can get to the jukebox that much easier.
Yeah.
But he's going to turn it off.
Oh, okay, good.
Because I was going to say there's nothing I could do.
All right.
Do you want?
Huh?
You want to tell her that we're going to have her on?
So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to have you on for the whole show.
Yes.
But we're going to bring in an assistant coach.
Every now and then. Okay, cool.
And rotate them in.
That works.
Keisha first, and then Chris.
Okay.
And then Sherry. Is it Sherry or
Sherry.
Sherry.
Yep.
Well, yeah. We'll do a little recap first, but that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, if you want to wait off camera for a couple of minutes.
No, no
we'll
way.
Call you on, give
Yep.
you a big introduction.
Is it better if I just scoot back and
You can do that. Yeah,
Okay.
you can do that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I got you all day.
We're not going to ask her about recruits.
Uh-oh.
Maynard G. Krebs is out on the recruiting trail.
How much did you get for finding a recruit, Carrie?
That would be a violation, I say.
Right. Listen, she met you during Giving Day. It was random and on the green. No harm, no foul.
So, what do you want to talk about before we bring Coach on?
I just want to talk about the track game.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
3 people out on the left coast.
Yeah, have
I
you
just
seen?
want to let y'all know I got my first meeting scheduled inside the baseball stadium.
Nice.
Fundraising meeting on August the 12th. 11 o'clock in the morning, so I hope it's inside.
Tomorrow morning?
No,
August.
August the 12th.
Oh, wow.
So,
But the idea is that on August 12th, everything will be ready.
I
So
guess
you,
so.
You
We'll
have
be in the
this, is that on
stadium.
the website?
What do you?
These are the 3
Coach Matt,
competitors
you
that
up
we have out
first.
there.
Where you
After,
at?
Can we borrow this chair?
after
Huh?
they're
Where are
going
you at?
first.
I mean, you're on the website.
Okay.
Trio House.
When
I
they
got
get
you.
ready,
Yeah.
they're gonna
He
introduce
texted
first and
this
then
to
you'll
me.
go.
I got you.
You'll go.
I can find that.
When we're ready to go on, you'll be here, but you can wait any place else. Yeah.
Outside would be nice. Don't listen to me.
Just ask Chuck about being a legend in Euro basketball. Kennesaw Junior College.
This should be fun.
Absolutely. So let's go back.
You want to get up and turn that light on, or you want me to get one of
I
those
can get
guys
that.
over there to do it?
I get it. Let's see.
Have you seen the AI-generated post-game conferences with
Oh.
the NBA and NHL?
That stuff is way too. But you know, anybody who's older than me thinks it's all real because I mean it's so good.
Like the stuff that they have to say.
Oh yeah.
The one with Connor McDavid out there blowout.
How about Brian Wilson dying today? Did you see
He
that?
did.
Yeah, that was sad.
The Beach Boys are gone.
I saw them more than I've ever seen any other band in concert.
Sly died. Brian Wilson died. I can't actually find that one.
You want to just inhale it off of here?
Let me see. Let me do one more thing here. There we go.
That's the one. Hey, Sean, flip that light on, please. Thank you. There you go. Thanks, sir.
So, a buddy of mine sent me this thing yesterday, and when you look at it, so I just did a picture with our resident table sitter. Sent that to his dad. It's always a good one to send to your dad.
What we're doing right now.
This is what is going on.
We're ready when Larry is.
You already cut the music? Man, it's really loud. I'm okay with that, but it's really loud.
I can't hear you. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Miller's Ale House. It's Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, and that means it's time for the Owl Show. Can I get a big hooty-hoo?
Hooty-hoo!
So we're going to be interviewing the entire women's basketball staff tonight, so very excited about that. My name is Chuck Burge, along with my co-host, Mr. Robert Kinney. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. I'm one of the shorter people in this restaurant right now.
And you know what? We
okay, and besides Sean the bartender, he wins that contest.
You know,
okay.
but we really messed up early because we didn't wish Larry and his wife Maura a happy 21st wedding anniversary. Is that right?
How about that?
Congrats to Larry and Maura.
Larry and Laura.
Larry and Maura. Yeah. So very excited that she let him out of the house for
Absolutely.
to be able to work on his anniversary.
I
So
appreciate that.
very happy about that. Like I said, we've got a big show tonight with Coach Octavia Blue and her staff. But first, we're going to get a couple of commercials.
Joshua Smith and his wife Tammy are both graduates of Kennesaw State College. He's been practicing law for 24 years, specializing in sports and entertainment law while continuing in criminal defense, civil litigation, juvenile and personal injury law. And he's ready to represent you all the way from your small town to the Supreme Court and any appellate court in between. With all the new rules regarding NIL and cash payments to athletes, they are placing a new emphasis on Kennesaw State University student athletics to help our student athletes better navigate some of the bigger issues that have tripped up so many. Give them a call tomorrow at 706-217-2095.
What number was that?
The big one on the screen, 706-217-2095.
There are a lot of places to get your oil changed in the Kennesaw area, but if you're looking for a personal experience, then stop in at Castrol Kennesaw Express Lube or Lost Mountain Express Lube. We'll always do our very best to get you in and out quickly, safely, and without a whole lot of fuss. We're a true owner-operated business where you'll find Brian under a car or hood at one of the shops. We offer experienced, knowledgeable technicians and the latest computer software to help maintain your new car warranty and keep your pride and joy running for the next 100,000 miles. We proudly offer
Castrol products.
And we thank you, Brian and Joshua and Tammy, for being sponsors of the Owl Show. A lot of good things going on in Owl's place this week. We're going to do a little quick recap of what's going on, and then we'll get Coach Blue on with us. 3 athletes are out in Oregon competing in the Nationals for the outdoor track meet, and they are Chance Cross, Callie Terza, and Emma Sullivan. Is that correct?
That is correct. You're 3 for 3 so far. Congratulations.
Well, I only have to be 3 for 3 because there's only 3.
Well, but you could have messed up one of those names, and then you'd only been 2 for 3.
Yeah. But, yeah, I made it. All right, show's over. No.
Good job.
So, Callie, I know, is throwing tomorrow. I think Chance is running tonight.
Correct. First, the semifinal for the men's 100 meter, which is what Chance is competing in, is 8:25 tonight, East Coast time. So I guess it's technically
Pretty
right,
close.
Yeah.
To now. Yeah.
Well, no.
An hour.
Yeah, not an hour from now.
Yeah.
And then the finals are late Friday night at 8:52.
Yeah.
Miss Terza has semifinals and finals all on the same day.
Both tomorrow at 5:30.
Yeah,
Is
it
that right?
It starts at 4:30 Eastern.
4:30 Eastern.
4:30 Eastern, and they don't bring those hammer throwers back a day later. They just have them keep throwing until somebody wins.
Exactly.
And then Emma Sullivan, the semifinals are tomorrow night, real late, 10:14, and then the finals are 10:14 on Saturday. So
I'll be in bed by then.
yeah, I knew that. I wasn't going to say it, but I'll
Yeah.
agree with you now that you did.
No, I won't. I'm a midnight guy. I don't go to bed before midnight. All right. So good luck to them. I got a great text from Coach Cal sending me a picture of him and Callie out there in Oregon, and we appreciate that. And know everybody here back in Kennesaw are rooting for the three of you and Coach, and hope you guys go well. Keep us posted, and we look forward to reporting the results next week right here at the Three Guys Who Love KSU Sports.
Yeah, that's the one. It's kind of a mixed match of all the shows.
Yeah, because there's a lot more than three guys over there. Look at those guys over there chowing down.
Those guys are here for the food.
Those guys eat and never stop talking, even while they're eating.
But they eat well. It's not like if I've got my mouth open, I'm at Waffle House. I'm like, I'm kind of. They do it very well.
They do breathe well and
Yeah,
talk in
correct.
between bites.
Correct.
All right, so let's get on with the show. Let's get our favorite women's coach, Miss Octavia Blue, on here with us.
Hootie hoo!
Can I get a hootie and hoo? Give her a second to get set up here. Welcome back.
Hooty hoo. Thank you.
Hootie hoo to you. How is your summer going?
The summer has been super busy. Ever since the season ended, we obviously graduated 6 amazing seniors, and then we had to rebuild the roster. That's today in this climate of college athletics. So we're graduating 6 players. We had to replace them. So been super busy.
Well, you travel a lot, I know. I mean, I've seen you out in public 2 times in the last week.
Yes.
We saw at the Marietta KSU event, and then again yesterday at KBA luncheon. You guys are out getting into the community and learning more about these people, and hopefully getting them to come to the Combo Center and watch some basketball.
Absolutely. I mean, this institution has grown tremendously over the years, winning championships in every aspect of the university and athletic department. So it's important that we are visible throughout the community to kind of, let people know what's going on at KSU, have them come out, support our programs.
Coach, let me ask you this. I know this is, you hear a lot of coach speak.
Don't ask her the same things you answered yesterday.
No, I won't ask any of those types of questions. I got to ask you this, though. Winning and losing is obviously what a coach, but having 6 seniors graduate, how awesome is that? Knowing that you've prepared these young women for the rest of their lives, and a lot of people have life issues happen during school, but you've got 6 that moved all the way through. How satisfying is that?
Absolutely satisfying. It's why we do it. Being women and playing pro sports, a lot of us don't have these opportunities to continue to play, so it's actually more about the game. It's more than the game, actually. So obviously we want them to perform well on the basketball court, but more than that, we want them to be productive citizens of the community. We want them to get their degrees and, be able to be equipped to, go in any field that they want. So it's more about the totality of the development of our players, more so than just, what they're doing on the basketball court.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, how many people are typically on the roster, 12 or 14?
Well, we get a maximum of 15 players.
15.
Generally, I carry anywhere from 13 to 14. Managing 15 women isn't easy.
Some people say managing one is difficult enough.
I think the expression "herding cats" comes into mind.
Oh yeah. So we carry around 14 players. Just in case insurance. Someone gets hurt, you want to be able to have enough people to get through the course of the season. So generally 13, 14 players.
So 6 is a huge number.
That's almost half your team.
Almost half your team.
Yeah.
But, guys, thinking about the transfer portal and players, your roster's changing every single season. So it's not abnormal to have that amount of players exit your program.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. We've talked a little bit before the show. That you stay in touch with Princess. You ran into Princess the other day, Princess Harden.
Yes.
Do you stay up with a lot of the girls that have graduated and moved on?
Absolutely. That's what we do. You want to be able to, one of the things that we sell as a program to our student athletes and their families to convince them to come to Kennesaw State is about that long-lasting relationship. It's about family. I want to be invited to their weddings. I want to know their greatest accomplishments. I want them to know they can always come back and ask me for anything, and I'll be willing to do it for them. Most recently, I reached out to Alexis Poole. The girls, in addition to our workouts, they are also playing pickup games in the evenings. So I told her it'd be great to, come come by and come play pickup with the ladies, they need to know what an elite women's basketball player looks like who played at Kennesaw State, and in hopes that they emulate that.
That's awesome.
Yes.
What's the little girl's name that went to McEachern that graduated a couple of years ago?
McEachern, was she during my tenure? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I can't remember her name.
Yeah.
I think she was her. Carrick, wasn't she from McEachern? The little girl that used to be on the basketball team? Maybe I'm not.
Carrick doesn't remember.
It didn't happen.
It didn't
if he
happen
doesn't
in the
remember.
last 10 years.
Yeah, I just remember him introducing me to her, huh?
Okay. It was probably previous to the blue era.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I'll have to go back and look.
But McEachern traditionally has big time players.
Great athletes.
Who was it?
All come out of McEachern.
Big time.
Just like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Jabberge. That was me, baby. All right. So yeah, you know, on this show we don't talk about the traditional stuff. We want to talk about your personal life and how things are going on. Well, I don't want to get that personal.
Okay.
But so you've got an almost new staff too,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
So about 2 new staff members on.
Yeah, 2 new staff members. This day and age, people want to continue to grow, and we've been able to have some tremendous staff members on our staff in the previous years. Some have gone on to the Power 4 level. Some have gone on to be, strictly player development coaches. So throughout that time, we've had some success with the coaches that we had on the staff. But after going through 1 year in Conference USA, one of the things, there are some awesome coaches in this league. A lot of the staffs have had former head coaches. So for us to be able to, bring in the talent that we have, on the basketball court and our players, we equally want to, double down and bring the talent with this coaching staff. So shout out to Milton, our administration, and allowing us to go out and recruit the best coaches in the country, and we're happy to have them on staff.
Do you enjoy that part of it, the recruiting?
I do. That's how I hang my hat in this business. I got into business as a recruiting coordinator for all the schools that I work for, and it's all about building relationships, and that's the same when you're trying to build relationship with coaches. We were colleagues at some point. I was an assistant coach for most of my career, so we were colleagues at some point, and it's great to be able to tap into that when you need them to hire them on your staff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know you told me off camera that you're going back to play at Miami this year.
Yes.
Got to be gratifying for you.
Absolutely. Well, unofficially, we hadn't actually announced the schedule, but we will be playing prior to Christmas break on December 21st down at the U. Be my first time coaching there since I've been a head coach, so really excited about that.
So another reason why you should watch the Owls show. We break news that nobody else knows.
Breaking news.
Nobody knows.
That's got to be beautiful. Just to go back to your alma mater,
Yes.
and where you're still thought of in such high esteem, and
Yes.
bring those girls down there, and it's got to be something special when you have a great staff, and you yourself obviously were drafted by the WNBA.
Yes.
So when somebody does come with high aspirations of playing at the next level, I don't think Angel Reese is all that. I want some of that. To be able
Right.
to ask you a question
Yeah.
that you can actually go, well, I had to guard Lisa Leslie once.
Absolutely.
And perspective is everything. So it really makes the kids listen and soak it all in, right?
Absolutely. Now, going back to Miami, I got to shout out the head coach at University of Miami, Trisha Cullop. She allowed us to go down. We were going down to play FIU, and they had given us a practice time that was in the evening. So I had my staff reach out to University of Miami to see if they would allow us to use their facility for practice so we can get an earlier practice time and get some rest before 1 p.m. game start on a Saturday. And they agreed. Head coach Trisha Cullop allowed us to come down, and it was great. I gave the ladies a tour of my old stumping grounds where I kind of honed in my basketball skills. They got a chance to see my jersey hanging in the rafters. It was really surreal and cool moment for us. But yeah,
Where did you grow up down there?
Yeah, I grew up in Deerfield Beach, about 45 minutes north of University of Miami, so it's home for me, essentially.
I spent a lot of time in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah? Awesome.
Yeah.
I love Hollywood as well.
I didn't. It was my ex-wife's home.
Oh, okay. But no, to your point, my background being in the WNBA, for players that we recruit who aspire to be pros, it's really, it's impressive to families for me to be able to reflect on my career and kind of tell them, the ropes that I've gone through in order to get there.
Who was the toughest player you played against?
Ooh, I played against some really tough players. I mean, you mentioned Lisa Leslie, one of the top players. That's who I got drafted with the Sparks. And then, going to the 4-time world champions in the Houston Comets.
Cooper.
Shara Swoops, Cynthia Cooper, Tina Thompson. I mean, wow, you name it.
What a brutal
Legends.
lineup going
I love
against.
Swoops.
Hall of
Sure.
Famers.
Yeah.
Hall of Famers. Yes.
So,
Has the game changed much in the WNBA?
Absolutely. I mean, the versatility of all the players. I mean, there are no traditional bigs. All bigs are shooting threes, picking pops. They're massive. Back in the day, guards were 5'7", 5'8". Right now, you got 6'3", 6'4" guards. I mean, the game is extended to 3-ball. I mean, the skill set of these players these days is phenomenal.
and the bigs better be able to run nowadays.
They better be able to run. The big, bulky bigs, they're extinct these days.
The Zach Eddies or Eddies
Exactly.
from Purdue, those types of players.
The more mobile you are, the more valuable.
Absolutely. So going back to just, I can only imagine what it must be like to have a jersey
Yes.
hanging in the rafters that has your last name on it. So when you tell something to these girls and they're like, yeah, we're in Kennesaw, we're having a good time. Thanks, coach. That's really cool. But then you get them to be able to practice in this massive arena, and you walk into that arena and you're like,
Right.
you should all listen to me.
Yeah.
I might know something about this. So it's just got to be so humbling for everything, including yourself.
Absolutely, it's always humbling. I set out to be the best basketball player, the best student I could possibly be when I got the opportunity and granted a scholarship to play at the U. And, I think you just got to go a place that fits. And that's why, my staff has always done a great job of just identifying the players that fit. The players that fit my coaching style, the players that fit, the institution, the community, and that's going to help you to have a successful career. You just got to go where it fits. And then it doesn't matter if you're a small fish in a big pond or you're a big fish in a little pond. You just got to go put your imprint, your footprint on a program, and then let the rest just work out for you.
Because even if you are a big fish in a small pond, you can make it to the next level.
Talent is talent.
We were talking about on our first show. We mentioned John Morant.
Yes.
He's had a lot of issues, but coming from such a small school and being such a dynamic player, you don't always have to go to the big school to make a difference.
If you're a player, you're going to get recognized. You're going to get seen.
Jerry Rice,
Yes.
great example of that.
Yep.
Mississippi Valley State, right?
Yeah, that's
correct.
All right. So speaking of your staff, let's go ahead and get Keisha on. Is Keisha the one we're going to do?
Coach
first?
McClintock.
Keisha, let's get a big hootie for Keisha. Let Keisha get all set up.
I'm gonna let Keisha do whatever she wants to do, and she can nod to me when she's ready.
I think she's ready.
I think she might be.
Yeah. How are you, Keisha?
I'm doing well. How are you?
We're good.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Wait, Larry's going to do something here. Oh, you go. That maybe.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So maybe a little bit closer to the mic, or either turn her mic up a little bit, Larry.
So this is getting ready to be your third season, and where did you come from before?
I was at Tennessee State.
Larry, we're not hearing her at all.
Yeah.
There we go. They can share. They're good.
Can you
at
hear me
sharing.
now?
No, I can hear you now.
Alrighty.
You might even make that commercial. You sounded good when you said that.
Can you hear me now? I like that.
So you came from Tennessee State,
I came from Tennessee State. Yes.
and what was that like when Coach Blue gave you the
No,
phone
Larry,
call?
they switched, Larry.
There you go.
Sorry.
No, you're all good. So what was it like when you got the phone call, and what'd you know about KSU before you made it here?
Well, I'm originally from Stockbridge, Georgia, so this was coming back home.
Southside.
So,
Southside girl.
it was, excited to be back in Georgia, thinking this is my 19th year coaching, and this
Wow.
is the first time I've ever been in the state of Georgia. So being
Wow.
back home and having family, friends, and, just able to come to every game was very exciting.
I can imagine.
So how's Kennesaw compared to Stockbridge? Did you turn me off, Larry?
No, you're still loud.
Okay.
Well, being an adult from being in Stockbridge, I went to school here. Now I feel like, I can go to dinner, I can go outings, I can go downtown. Like being in high school, my mom was not letting me go too far. So just staying in Stockbridge was kind of what I did.
That's cool. So I'm assuming you played
I did.
as well. What
I
did
played
you
at
play?
Middle Tennessee State.
Oh, the Blue Raiders.
The Blue Raiders,
My son
yeah.
graduated from Middle Tennessee
Okay,
State. Yeah, my
okay.
younger son. So was up there a couple of weeks ago for the Conference USA track meet. So spent a lot of time up in Murfreesboro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice little town.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's grown a lot from when I've been there. So
So
Puckett's. Did you ever eat at Puckett's?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
nice play.
Yeah, it was.
So you've been all over the Tennessee, Kentucky area. I see Murray State's on your resume as well.
It was Murray State, and then after that, I went to East Tennessee State. So it's funny. Everybody's like, "Wait, are you from Tennessee? Because you've been there for a while." I'm like, "I'm a Georgia girl all through and through." So, but that's just the area of being in that radius. Kind of familiar. So.
Yeah, one of my best friends played baseball at Murray State, so he's very, very happy about them going to the College World Series.
Oh.
He's actually flying to Omaha to go to the game.
Okay,
so very excited about that. Pretty small school, Murray State, but a lot of good things like Ja Morant, we were talking about earlier, came out of Murray State. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what position did you play?
I played small forward. Well, nowadays we call it, I was a big guard.
You're a big guard? Yeah, small forward, big guard. Yeah.
2, 3, 2.5. Something
Play
like
more
that.
than 3.
More than three?
Yes.
3.
So.
Yeah. So what is shooting guard is no longer a term of the past? Or
No,
is
it
that
still is.
Two guard, basically?
Yeah, 2 guard. Yeah.
That's a 2.
Yeah. So a lot of the guys I played with, everybody played 2 guard because nobody else wanted to pass.
Well, since nowadays everybody still kind of think they're the same way too.
Yeah.
So we as coaches was giving them their terminology.
We were talking to Coach Blue a minute ago about how the game has changed over the years, and you bringing up that I'm kind of a 2/3. Isn't that what everybody just about thinks they are nowadays? You know, when you recruit somebody, you're just like, well, what are you? I'm 6'7". I do this. Well, what do you do? I like to shoot threes. What do you mean you like to shoot threes? But that's the idea that's out there between Steph and Caitlin. That's what the sport has turned into.
That's what you see, yeah. And that's what especially for women now. I mean, now we do have where people are dunking, but that was like a dunk for women being just shooting threes and doing all that. But now, like I said, since the game has emerged, we do have women now that are able to and have that capability of doing it. So.
No, it's impressive.
Do you like the 3-pointer in the game?
Of course, the corner 3 especially.
Yeah, that's you, the corner.
Corner 3 all day.
I was always top of the key.
Oh, okay.
Me too, Chuck.
Yeah.
He's looking for. He's wondering if the bank's open when he goes over there.
No, I don't do the bank. That's funny. I mean, we love having people on. We want to ask you one fun question before we move on. Who's the most famous person in your cell phone?
Princess Harden.
Princess Harden. Well, points to Princeton. Sorry about that, Coach Blue.
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
So how big of a difference was it when you came to KSU? No, I know you were a Blue Raider there for a little bit, and they probably got some decent things going on there. But but Murray and East Tennessee probably a little smaller, not quite like the Convocation Center.
Oh yeah.
Was it nice coming home to a sprawling a university that just keeps getting thousands and thousands of more students?
It's amazing.
Our intern's pumping those numbers up himself. He's a new student here in another month.
Incoming freshman.
There you go.
Oh, I love it. The atmosphere that we have at KSU in the Convo is, second to none. Like, that's just as, how they say it's a 6-man. That's exactly what that is. And bringing in and, with us being able to have some of last year, especially like some of our Georgia players coming in, you get the high school teams and AU teams and programs of people who hadn't normally come up, being able to come and see the exciting style of play that Coach Blue has, set for our team.
You just brought something up, and so my brain, I'm kind of like a dog. If you say squirrel, I just kind of jump off my original thought process. People always talk about men's basketball in the state of Georgia and how much talent there is. Now, none of it ever stays here. Everything always leaves the state, outside of the occasional Simeon Cottle or somebody like that who's a great local player. But is women's basketball fairly similar in Georgia? Are there just a lot of good players?
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm being from Georgia, I got to give a shout out.
Girl.
We're here, yes. No, but I think a lot of times, just like anything else, like when you want to go off to school, you want to kind of get out the state. But how the portal has been, you recognize quickly for some, kind of what Coach Blue was saying, you got to make sure you find that fit. So we've been very successful in having players come back home to be in Georgia and finish out and understanding, the importance of that. So there's a lot of great talent here in Georgia for sure.
Well, to be honest with you, we've been really just recruiting the state. The past 3 seasons, we've had about 9 to 8 players on the roster from the state of Georgia. Even if we hadn't gotten them out of high school, they've gone on to some school, gotten a portal, and then they wound up coming back home. You think about Carly Hooks, Lindsay Wilby, players who played for us who are, out of the state and came back home. So we always want to make sure we're getting players from the state.
And going back to having 6 seniors, that's got to be a great recruiting tool when you're going into somebody's living room and their mama's worried about, what's going to happen and who's watching after them. Well, my job is to make sure they graduate, and even if they don't become a player on the Lynx or the Fever or somebody else, they're going to have a great job that you're going to be happy and proud about. So is that something that we mention a lot?
100% graduation rate. Shout out Coach Blue.
100%. We got to make sure we get them walking down the aisle.
That's beautiful.
So when you guys are out recruiting, does each coach cover a certain area, or do you just go wherever you need to go?
We'll have an area
Like
in which
geographic?
we
Yeah.
do. We kind of be like in a 4 to 5 mile radius is where we like to be. So it's touching states. So again, so families can come. It's easier to kind of get there. But we have some players on our team currently now that are, extended outside of that. But just initially, you just try to keep players in that radius closer.
Yeah.
And I'll elaborate. We love that, but at the same time, from a budgetary standpoint, we like to stay close. But we recruit nationwide. I mean, we've got players from Colombia on our squad, Paris, France, Senegal. And that's how much we've grown as a program. We've been able to go all over the country and just recruit the talent.
Yeah, that girl from Senegal takes up some room in the middle.
Yes, she does. She looks amazing, by the way. I saw her
she's
today.
great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And we talk about that on a semi-regular basis as KSU has moved up to Conference USA, and I always talk about with men's basketball. The football team gets a little bit of notoriety, but then there's a 6'7" swing man out of Memphis who sees that. It's like, Kennesaw, where is that even at? And all of a sudden, so would you say the big move up to Conference USA has opened the door to a lot of other people in the country as far as who you guys are and what you're all about?
100%. And you know what? I just got to shout this out. Rest in peace. Coach Amir won the ASUN. And Coach Amir took KSU men's basketball to the first NCAA tournament. Everybody knew who Kennesaw State was.
Right.
Everybody knew who Kennesaw State was. And then we moved to FBS, and now we're on the video game. What is it, Madden? So everybody knows Kennesaw State. I checked into a hotel, and I had a KS. I was down in Miami. I checked in a hotel. I had a KS shirt, and I was like, I just played Kennesaw Madden. So, I mean, people know who we are.
I went to the WNBA home opener in Indiana, the Chicago, Indiana game. So I'm sitting next to this young kid. He was a junior, and I said something to him. I talk to everybody. I can't help it. And he was actually a practice player. He plays college basketball, small school, but they bring him in, guys versus ladies, more physical, and positioning everybody. But it was just amazing. It was amazing the thought process that went along. Is that something that you guys do as well?
With our practice players.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we use them a lot of times, especially when we get into season like more scout team based. So they'll be the opponents in which we're playing. So they help prep our girls because that way we can kind of have them do anything we need them to do and not having, habits that our girls or players are practicing. So we're able to do our schemes and all that we need to do and just kind of give them that fresh start before we get every to be out there in front of them. And like you said, it is a competitive edge on all they're doing. They're quicker, they're faster, they're a little bit stronger. So that brings our toughness out of our players as well.
And what's pretty cool about it is they really get into it. Our practice guys are they're part of the team. I take care of them as much as they can. They're like extended members of our team. They're at every home game. They're yelling. So if I have say for example, if I have one of our practice guys, he's emulating Caitlin Clark, right? He's saying, oh, she's a three-point shooter, pick her up now. He's going over every scouting report that we talked about during our practice prep. So we love our guys. Shout out to our practice squad. They've been great for us.
That's awesome.
That's
Awesome.
That's fun. It's amazing to me just how much athletes in general have progressed from the time when I played ball. I was 6'5", 6 feet tall and 155 pounds, and I was a starting forward.
Osteoporosis has not been good to Mr. Bird.
I was a starting forward and backup center at 6'1" and 155 pounds. And now you get laughed at if you're 6'1", 155, unless you're super talented. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you can jump out of the gym, but
sure.
and you guys were mentioning it on the recruiting aspect. Now, you're all kind of big.
Yeah,
so let me just start with that.
Yeah.
But is there a time where you're looking at a point guard and you're like, okay, we need to send this person over, that point guard mentality, or do you guys feel like you can have point guard speak even if you're a 2-3 or a 4-5 or anything else?
Yeah, I mean, With our recruiting strategy, we pretty much want the recruit to know everyone. We want to build relationships with every coach on the staff. Now, obviously, when we start to get to know the recruit, we want one particular coach to build a relationship, right? And then we'll pass them on to the next coach, so they get to know Coach Chris, and they'll know Coach Mack, and they'll know Coach Tuck. And when they come, their families feel comfortable that they have 4 or 5 people that's going to take care of their young lady.
Makes good sense.
Yeah.
Makes good sense.
It does. So, is there a game in particular that you're looking forward to this year? More
Always
than the
middle.
other?
That we're allowed to
I mean,
mention.
that's the only one really that sticks out big. So
What is it?
Middle
Middle
Tennessee.
Tennessee, her alma mater.
You don't know JT Musgrove, do you? He still holds track records at MTSU.
Oh, okay.
A friend of mine from high school.
Okay.
Yeah, back before you were born, so that's okay. But yeah, so I'm a big Blue Raider. Blue Raider was like my 3rd favorite school because my son went there.
Except for whenever you guys are around.
Yeah, Georgia Tech. Oh no, Georgia Tech and Georgia Southern are second level behind KSU. And then,
Everybody.
Well, I want to just go ahead and shout out Coach Mack. She's pretty humble, but Coach Mack was a big-time player at Middle Tennessee. She was a defensive player of the year, led Middle to number of steals. Was that right?
Yeah.
They knocked off number 5 in the NCAA tournament at UNC, and she's been our defensive coordinator for the last couple of years and has done a phenomenal job in just leading us. In our first year in CUSA, we were 3rd in opponent's defense. We were 3rd in three-point percentage defense, and we were 44th in the nation. So done a great job with our defense, and she's big time, takes pride in that, and I apprate her work.
Defense wins
We
ball
do,
games.
too.
You know it. There you go.
It wins championships.
Yes.
That's what it does.
All right. Well, Keisha, thanks for being on. We're going to get into you've almost got one more question.
One more. If you could look into that camera over there and let the next basketball recruit know why she should come and play under you guys.
All right, you heard Coach Blue say it already before. Kennesaw State, we're growing. We play a fun, competitive style of play, and it's going to be something that you definitely can grow, and most importantly, you'll be able to graduate from a great institution.
Hootie hoo. Everybody make hootie hoo for Keisha.
Good job, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Y'all do pay attention over there.
I do. So they're pretty good sometimes.
All right,
Thanks,
let's
Coach.
get the Brain Train commercial, and then we'll get Chris on.
Hey, it's Melissa at Brain Train Centers, the fastest growing neurofeedback provider in the world, and I have some pretty important questions for you. Do you or someone you know struggle with focus and attention, sleep, memory, or other mood issues? Or maybe you just want to achieve more in high-pressure situations. Well, what if I told you you can unlock your brain's full potential and change your life entirely through neurofeedback, a drug-free and natural approach to negative moods, and it's backed by more than 50 years of research, so it's not new. It is safe for both children and adults as you retrain the brain to create new pathways. Medication may help short-term, but they don't address the underlying issues. Just as push-ups help your physical strength, neurofeedback is personal training for your brain. With over 20 offices nationwide, don't hesitate to reach out to Brain Train Centers, as we will provide you with the highest level of compassionate care and help you achieve the mental clarity, performance, and calm you deserve. Your journey to a better quality of life starts with a brain map. Now you can retrain your brain and reset your life. So just call or text 470-291-2778 or visit braintraincentersinc.com.
I hate saying who it is. Oh, we're on. Hey, welcome back. Thank you, Melissa Hergert, for being sponsors of the Owls Who Live Sports here at Miller's every Wednesday night. I almost said Thursday. We've only been doing this 2.5 years.
You're gonna get it. You're gonna get it down before long.
All right, so we have a new guest, Mr. Chris
Straker.
Straker.
First time, good job.
All right, Chris Straker. Chris, get up to the mic if you would a little bit. Up to the mic a little bit if you will. So welcome, buddy.
Happy to be here.
My first question is, all these women around you, how do you deal with that?
Oh, they make my life so much easier. I'm living the good life here. Any issues, they know how to take care of it.
Yeah.
Everything is planned out to precision point, and that makes my life much easier. So I'm happy.
Awesome. Where are you from?
I was born in Nairobi, Kenya. Grew up in Manchester, England.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't hear that in the accent. Maybe you have to
No,
talk
the
more.
accent is all over the place. So I spent
I got a little bit of
previously
it.
4 years in Georgia previously, then 8 years in California as well. So I've been bounced around
Georgia
all
Southern
over the
in
place.
San Francisco.
That's correct. Yeah, there you go. You know your stuff. You're doing your homework.
I'm
Georgia
trying, I'm
Southern?
trying. Yeah, he's a Georgia Southern guy.
Yeah. There
Georgia
you go.
Southern grad.
Good
yeah,
for you.
Yeah, good. Yeah, after Kennesaw Junior
Boo.
College. Yeah.
Kennesaw.
Kennesaw Junior College.
So, what was it like out in San Francisco before you came here? I mean, that's a school that, outside of Bill Russell, not a lot of people know much. That's
The Dons,
the
right?
Dons. That is correct.
There you go. Yeah, I really enjoyed my time out in San Francisco. I was able to do some international recruiting out there, which kind of fit my background. So we finished third in the WCC, which was our best finish in over a decade. So really enjoyed my time out there. It was good.
Well, clearly you succeeded out there because Coach Blue asked you to come out here.
Absolutely. Best phone call you could get, right?
How did you
believe
guys
that.
meet?
I believe that.
How did you find Chris?
Well, I was familiar. He was at Georgia Southern back in 2021 when I first got the job. I was trying to finish up the schedule. So I had a couple games to fill, so I reached out to Georgia Southern, and I looked on the message board, and their contact was Chris Straker. So I reached out to Coach, and he and I kind of set up a game, and I got to meet him in person, but really watched his work, saw what he was able to do. Called a couple colleagues who worked with him, his former boss at Georgia Southern, said great things about him, and when we had the position open, I reached out.
Very cool. Tanner Field's house still where they played ball?
That's correct.
Yeah.
I appreciate that Coach Blue didn't mention the result of the game, that I was in charge of scheduling there. So
Yeah.
I appreciate
I
that.
played many
The
a ball
last time
game
they
in
wanted
Tanner
you to
Field
schedule
house.
anything, right?
There you
No,
go.
you did
That
this
was the
game?
end of playing Kennesaw State after that.
No.
But that was obviously my first experience of going up against Coach, and what an incredible job they did, and just the intensity that the team played with and things like that. That really kind of introduced me to the competitor that Coach Blue is.
So you've seen a lot of different cultures between Nairobi, you said, and
Correct.
San Francisco and
England.
the borough.
Yep, I've been very lucky. We got a little bit more going on here in Kennesaw than
Than
there is
they
in
do in
Statesboro
Statesboro,
down
no
there.
doubt
So
about
I'm
it.
definitely happy for that change.
Just
Yeah,
a little bit.
I shown he's there on 301 North more times than I'd ever care to admit.
No, funny story. Like when we played Georgia Southern, it was a tight game, and Princess Harden was just a little baby freshman. I remember her having two incredible plays in that game where she stole an inbounds ball back-to-back possessions, scored two layups, and they had forced them to call a timeout. Anyway, we wound up winning that ball game. Alexis Poole had to hit a free throw for a 1-point win. So I called Georgia Southern the next year to try to schedule them, and she was like, no way. She's like, I remember we used to beat – that was a guarantee we'd win to play Kennesaw State.
Sure.
And she was like, I'm not playing you ever
Well,
again.
and in football, that's the Appalachian states, the Jacksonville states. There's different teams that have been invited to go play different places. They don't get those same invites anymore. Once everybody cries and leaves, and you're the only ones happy in that. Yeah.
We won't be hearing from Rutgers anytime soon.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So-
and it was funny. You were talking about the Liberty game.
Yes.
The guy says, "I don't want to go play against that fight song."
Yeah.
and that's the way this lady from Georgia Southern was. But we ain't playing.
She said,
that
no,
one.
ma'am. No, ma'am.
It's really funny, and I hear it from the two of you and coaches that we've had on the show many times before, but everybody in business wants to network. But is there anything that networks better than coaches? I mean, you guys really, and as you said, you met him because you scheduled a game with him 4 years ago. But then, as your life is going on and you're focused on your own thing, you still occasionally, let's see what he's up to. It's really a large family that basketball coaches. You all have a lot of admiration for each other and keep tabs on each other.
Well, I'll say this real quick. One of the things, since I've become a head coach and even as an assistant coach, I keep a note in my notes app. I always, if I'm on the road and I see a hardworking assistant or I see someone that, carries themselves well and has a way, or I lost a recruit to them, I write them down. So, and I did
They're
that
in the
as
book.
Yeah, I did that as an assistant. Just, if I ever became a head coach, here's who I'd hire. Here's who I would go after. So my interaction with Coach Straker was that I wrote him down. And I said, hey, if I ever had an opportunity to invite him to, be a part of our coaching staff or even be a colleague as I'm an assistant coach, I would absolutely reach out to him. So.
So going back to recruiting, and because you are probably bilingual as well, but
I got enough to get by. A few words in every language just
there
to
you
get the
go.
conversation
Hey,
started.
that's good. But with basketball becoming such a global international sport, any big visits or where you're going anywhere or keeping an eye on?
Yeah, we've got
people?
a big visit coming up. I'm going to Lake Point, Georgia. I'm going down the street to Emerson. 20 minutes down the road tomorrow.
I know exactly where that is.
That'll be the first road trip that I'll go on for the Owl. So
that's
looking
awesome.
forward to that.
So how did you get the girl from Africa?
Oh, Mom. So we signed her last year. She was playing at a prep school down in Florida, and we got her name. So we reached out to her. We knew our high school coach, and he sent us a ton of film. And obviously
networking.
Correct. Obviously, she's super raw. Had only been playing organized basketball for 2 years, has only been in the state for 2 years, but 6'6" is 6'6". And bringing a player of that stature here to Kennesaw State was going to be a game changer for us. The staff and I were committed to just her development, and we're seeing the profits of that return really early. She's really picking up the material. She's gotten stronger. She understands how we're trying to play. And most importantly, she's so humble and just happy for the opportunity.
Always thrilled to death to see her come on the court.
Yeah. No, here's the deal.
She'll get more court time this year, though, right?
Yeah, she had Penn State after her. She had University of South Florida. But one of the things she told me, those schools knew she was going to be a project, and they wanted to redshirt her. And she said, "No, coach, I want to play right away." So we were able to give her spot minutes where she can kind of get her feet wet and understand. So that meant the world to her. And now she's committed to the Owl, so she wants to be here and stay under our tutelage.
Well, they said Elijah Wan was going to be a project too, but that project worked out. And
we see that, right? Hall of Famer.
Like you said, but 6'6" is 6'6".
6'6" is 6'6", yes.
That's awesome.
Now, she said that Keisha was a defensive specialist. What's your specialty?
Yeah, more so the offensive side of the ball, so that fits well. At Georgia Southern, I was the offensive coordinator there. We were fifth in the nation for scoring offense. And that's kind of been my background as a head coach in Europe as well. Kind of just love the offensive side of the ball, being able to play up tempo, play fast, and flow into different offensive sets.
Was it your goal when you were in Europe to come to the States?
Yes, that's been my goal since 16, 17 years old.
So 10 years ago?
I appreciate that.
So and that leads right into my question. When were you first introduced to basketball?
I was about 10 years old watching Magic Johnson.
Okay.
That was how I fell in love with the game, just the way he played, with a little bit of flash and flair.
But you're living in England at that point.
Correct, yeah.
So you're in love with this guy on the left coast in America, and you're watching it at a really weird time of day. So was there opportunities for you to play and coach and things like that? I'm guessing not a ton of opportunities, but...
Yeah, really lucky. My high school coach was a big basketball fan, loved the game. He was actually from Eastern Europe, and so the background there. You look at Luka Doncic and Jokic now, the way they've developed those
and the
players.
Serbians.
So that kind of helped me kind of get started. And then my high school coach in the UK, we have a basketball academy, 16 to 19, and so my coach there coached out here at the University of Miami of Ohio.
Okay.
And so he was a phenomenal coach. Say that again.
Red Hawks?
Yeah,
formerly
there
Red
you go.
Skins,
Yeah, Red Hawks. There you go. So he coached with Joby Knight there, who's disciple of Bobby Knight. And so that's kind of, I try to claim that coaching tree a little bit where I can. And
they talk about coaching trees all the time, man. I'd claim onto that one too.
There you go. And so that gave me kind of the love for coaching and the love for the game, just to be really in depth. And that was kind of lucky. I've been really lucky along my way. The people I've had to guide me, and kind of that's a big part of why I wanted to come here, to get that same guidance from Coach Blue.
Luck happens to hard workers.
There you go.
Do you love Kennesaw compared to San Francisco?
Absolutely. Hootie hoo.
Hootie hoo, baby. All day long. Yeah. So what's your favorite part of the job?
Building the relationships with the players is always first and foremost. It's incredible the stuff we do on the court, but I think now when I get calls back from former players and they say something that we did or a conversation we had has kind of formed or shaped their life in some way, helped them to get where they're going, that's really the biggest thing for me. And then I love it when you kind of work on something, then you see it, it comes out in the game, and they're like, oh, I did it, and that's really special.
You spend a lot of Tuesday mornings working on something, and you're like, they're never going to get this. And then the play happens in the game, and you're like,
Exactly
money.
right. Exactly right.
That's gotta be.
That's what it's all about.
And you know,
That'd be good.
Robert and I have the same feelings. That's our favorite part about doing the show is building relationships.
Yeah.
Because having these kids, and we would love to have some of your players on too, is building a relationship. Where did you come from? Where are you going? How can we help? I don't know, and I know Coach Blue does, but we have 6 sponsors on our show, and every penny we get goes to KSU Athletics. We have not kept a penny in 2.5 years. Wow. So it goes all to KSU.
Appreciate that.
There you go.
Yeah. So we want to be a part of things going forward. We'll ask you the same question we asked Keisha. Who's the most famous person in your cell phone?
Well, it's obviously Octavia Blue. I just assume that the answer goes
That's what I'm talking about, the right
But
answer.
see, you can tell somebody who was hired a few years ago, somebody who was hired this year.
Yeah, Robert.
Yeah, slight difference.
That's cool. That's right.
Coach.
So, like Robert said, we want you to look into that camera before you get off and tell the next great recruit, be it from London or Kenya or wherever, why they should come to KSU.
Okay, obviously, the reason I came was Coach Blue, an incredible vision for the program, and that's what drew me here. A coach that's been to where you want to go. If you want to play at the highest level, played in the WNBA, has gone through it and done everything that you can think of, so she knows what it takes to get you there. But as well, like we're just talking about Princess Harden earlier, she's in the office today. Love you, Coach. Love everything you've done for me. So thankful. And so you can really see that that's a head coach that cares about you. The growth of the university has been phenomenal the last 10 years. You look at how it's just exploded. And so that growth then supports our athletic department's growth. And so it's only up from here for the Owls.
Love it.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you. We want you back on the show, too, all right?
I appreciate that.
Thank you very much. By the big hootie hoo for Chris Stricker. Get our last 2 commercials on, and then we'll bring Sherry on. Making preparations for when you're not around anymore is not easy. Nobody likes to think about their own mortality, and we can talk about it next week. It doesn't always fit into the big picture, and that's why you should contact our friend Ron Smith, Senior Life Insurance. Whether you're being buried or cremated, costs keep going up, but you can lock in a price today and take this final expense off your to-do list. Do your loved ones a favor and take care of your final expenses so that when your time comes knocking, they won't have to worry about it. If you are age 1 to 85, they have a plan ready for you. So please contact our friend Ron Smith and his team at 440-561-0758. That's 440-561-0758.
Tired of going to the same old places for the same old thing? American Access has your solution. Whether you're looking for something new to do before or after the game, most memorable workouting ever, or just wanting to take something else off your bucket list, American Access has their 3.5 Atlanta locations waiting for you in Marietta, Tucker, downtown at the Works, and the uber cool new mobile Axe experience that can be set up wherever you need. Keep an eye out for them at upcoming events and festivals. Look them up online, or just give them a call at 678-763-3635.
I need that number again.
The big one on the screen, 678-763-3635 to schedule your next adventure.
And we thank you, Dan Fisher and Ron Smith, for being sponsors of the Owls Who Live Sports. So we are now here with our third assistant coach of the day, Sherry
Tucker.
Sherry Tucker.
How are you doing, Coach Tucker?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing?
Good.
Great.
Awesome. Love your little hoodie there. That's awesome.
Thank you.
How do we get
Appreciate
one of those? 2.5 years ago when we did this, I had my one Kennesaw T-shirt.
Yeah.
I've got like 30 now lined up in the closet.
Yeah, when we first
Which one are
started
we
the
gonna
show, Carrick Martin gave us a couple old baseball jerseys just so we'd have something to wear that had owls across the chest. So.
You know, I almost got a baseball jersey too today because it looks good.
It does look good.
Yeah, I
it
don't
does
need to
look
play
good.
baseball to wear that. That looks great.
That's correct. That's correct. You don't have to play the sport to still represent it and look good in it.
Yeah.
So tell us where Sherry's from.
North Philadelphia.
North Philly.
Yep.
Lafayette Hills?
Nope.
But around there?
No.
Yeah.
No. North Philadelphia, Erie Avenue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My son used to live in Lafayette Hills.
Everybody
Just
always talks
northwest.
about South Philly. You know, South Philly, South Boston.
Yeah.
Nobody ever talks about the North Side.
You know, North is the best side.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Even in Atlanta, North is the best side. Sorry about that, Keisha. It's not Stockton. That's Kennesaw.
So, had you ever been to Kennesaw before the last few months of your life?
You know, never been to Kennesaw, but, just been to the Atlanta area, but never been out here in Cobb County. It's my first time, and I like what I see.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
We like it too. So, where did you come from?
coming from Bethune-Cookman University in Daytona Beach, Florida. That was my last stop.
And how long were you down there?
4 years. Yeah, and before that, Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
Texas A&M.
Yeah, won the Big South regular championship down there with Coach Chadwick.
It's got to be a great place to be as long as the hurricane's not rolling in, right?
As long as the hurricane's not rolling in.
That wasn't a pun using you
Listen,
on that
South
one.
Florida, that's my life. Yeah.
Nope, never ran into one of those with my stint there.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Hurricanes are no fun, except those.
Yeah.
But you know what? Growing up in South Florida, it's just part of your life. I'm a little numb to it, but it was kind of funny when I was an assistant coach down there. Every time we got a hurricane warning, everybody freak out. And I was just like, okay, board your house up. It's just a normal walk in the park for us. But no, we don't take it that crazy.
Yeah, people get used to it down
We
there,
do.
I guess.
Yeah.
It'll blow through and we'll move on.
Yeah.
I always make fun of everybody in America. If you're from Oklahoma, you're okay with tornadoes.
Yeah.
But the idea of a hurricane or a earthquake just terrifies you. And exact opposite. No matter where you live, you just kind of get accustomed to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you're a Coppin State girl.
Yeah, Coppin State University. Yep.
And a lot of
State
success
Coppin.
at Coppin State.
Had some fun. We had some fun, man. Yeah.
Again, she's been humble, big time player, champion, Hall of Famer,
Player
Hall
of the Year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some fun. Player of the year. I got my opportunity to get my jersey retired over here like Coach Blue.
Yes.
Leaving some our mark. You never know you're going to do those things until it happens. You're just out there having fun and just playing the game.
Are you up in the rafters too?
Yeah.
My jersey's up in the rafters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in my attic. Yeah, I got it up in my
Yeah, Chuck.
I heard about you. You're intramural champ now.
Oh, no doubt about it.
They don't call him Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for nothing.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna be immortalized one of these days. While everybody's got their back turned, I'm gonna bring my drill in here and I'm gonna put a picture of me and Chuck way up high where nobody can reach it, and we'll just be in here for a long time.
Like this, hootie hoo.
Yeah, hootie hoo. That's what it's all about.
In your baseball jersey, right?
Yeah. Oh, we got our baseball jerseys.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So you also are an offensive-oriented coach. Is that correct?
Well,
everybody thinks they're everything, but.
I was definitely an offensive-oriented player.
Okay.
I'll tell you that, But on the coaching end, I kind of fell in love with the defensive side of the ball.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
My head coach was big on defense. Learned a lot from him, Coach Brown. And just my stops in my journey kind of took that on as, I want this to be my expertise and coming from this angle. I think it's the funnest side of the ball. That's where the competition happens.
Oh, absolutely. That's where the work gets done, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're talking about the NBA Finals tonight, and you're looking at this team, you're looking at that team, but man, that Oklahoma City team, that they play defense.
They play hard,
even though you ran a pick and you pulled that first guy off, that second guy, he's on you, and even though there's a third pick, there's still somebody on you. So you kind of hang your hat on that. Have you ever played for either one of you? Have you ever played for a coach who didn't care about D? I mean, isn't D kind of where we all,
No, I think, I've been with more offensive-minded coaches, honestly. That's where my expertise is. I love strategizing against different defenses, find a way to score. But I do understand, defense win championships. And that's, we're a blue-collar program. We hang our hat on our defensive play because even when you're struggling, the ball's not going to go in all the time. You can always win a game with your defense. The point is score more points than the other team. However, if you're stopping the other team from scoring, you have an opportunity to win. I don't care if I win 4-2, but we got to stop the other team, from scoring. So, although I love the offensive side of the ball, I do understand what our identity is and what's going to keep us in ball games.
Where's your favorite place you ever played?
Favorite place?
Favorite gym?
Favorite gym?
And don't say the one that's got your jersey hanging up. Clearly that should be number one.
It's funny because I would have to say my last stop, Bethune-Cookman. We were in the MEAC. That's when Bethune-Cookman was in the MEAC. That game in Daytona Beach, it is a small and intimate gym, and standing room only. I took the ball out. I had, excuse me. They're calling your name. You got the hecklers, and
And the
came out-
heckler's not far away. He's
no,
pretty
they
close.
right here. They right here calling my name, and they catch you every now and again like they know you. So I would have to say that was probably one of the best gyms I played in. It makes for a real
intimate, very
and
tight.
competitive. Okay, I'm trying to shush the crowd now.
Kind of like the Cameron Crazies at Duke.
Cameron Crazies.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's neat. Is there any place that you would want to play? Say, man, I'd love to go play on that campus. I'd love to go, other than the Convo Center, which we know.
I did play in Miami once. I did play at University of Miami.
Yeah, well, that's a pretty big place.
Yeah.
I know a coach who loves that place.
They were on our non-conference schedule, and I think that was my highest scoring game non-conference, and the books was like 30. But then they had a young lady, I'm blanking on her name, but they had a young lady. I was guarding. She scored 36. So my coach told me that my 30 points didn't count. You scored 6 points.
What year was it?
You lost 6
Negative
points.
6. I've got a very close friend who was in the state high school finals, and I don't know if you guys remember Brian Oliver, played for a long time
yes.
in the NBA.
Yes, I remember Brian.
Well, he went to Wills.
Okay.
And so Wills was versus Sprayberry in the state finals, and my friend Spence, shout out Spence, he tells this great story about, well, what was it like that day? He said, man, it was the greatest day of my life. He said, I knew he was going left before he knew he was going left. Every time he moved, I had a hand in his face. I'm like, wow, what happened? Well, he killed us with 43, and we lost the state. Sometimes you can be on, and that other person is just that good. Just as good. Too good.
Know?
Yeah, I'll tell you how old I am. Do you remember Mike Glenn? Mike Glenn was the stinger. I guarded him in high school.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I was a good defensive player. I was called a ball hawk. I loved it. 42 points a game against me. Good guy, was the quickest guy I've ever seen in my life. And this was pre-3-point, so he came across half court 2 steps, and it was in the basket. I couldn't stop. I had no time to make an adjustment.
No
he
game
was
time.
gone.
You didn't switch with any of your teammates. Say we got to switch. I'm not
Didn't
guarding
have
this guy.
time. He's one step across half court and gunning.
Anybody else feeling a little friskier than me?
So who's the hardest player you ever had to guard?
Ooh, made it to the NCAA tournament a couple times. I say Ivory Lotta at the time. Mm-hmm. Small point guard. She gets to it. She could get that mid range. She could get to the basket. Man, in transition, she was tough to guard. That young lady was hard to stop.
Yeah.
UNC had it rolling at that time.
Yeah, but I think about this all the time. How much sports has meant to me in my life. You meet so many great people. You build so many great relationships, like you guys were talking about. I don't see how people can't get along if they've played sports in their life. It just baffles me.
I think that's what it definitely attests to. Getting into any type of sport and getting into athletics.
Absolutely.
That's what you get to carry on, and that's what's most important when you leave. Yeah, you got some championships and you got some things under your belt, but the sport teaches you how to get through life, and that's one of the things.
How to talk to others.
Okay.
Others that you like and others that you might not
that
like.
you might not like, right? It teaches you how to navigate.
And the way you guys have come together reminds me a lot of the way the football team has come together. Everybody from Rice coming to the football team seems like Kershaw and Peter Chung was from there, and Jerry Mack. Everybody runs in the same circles, and that's how you do build a relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Sherry, we asked this of everybody else. Who's the most famous person in your cell phone?
No pressure.
You don't have to say me.
No, it's all right. Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts?
Yeah.
Oh, now there's one we haven't had
awesome.
before.
Got him on speed dial.
Oh,
Got
did
him
you?
on speed dial.
Got him on speed dial. That's my quarterback.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Now, did you know him, or?
I'm lying. I don't have him on my phone.
Man.
I'd have pulled him up on FaceTime or something.
We've had.
I was getting ready to ask her a tush push question.
Works every time. Works every time.
So we've had everybody
was
from
good.
Jerry
That was good.
Rice
Yeah.
to Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
People have been
Some
on,
people even said Octavia Blue.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that one out there.
As a brownie point guy.
Yeah,
I
it
think.
was. It was. But let me just say, I do not want to play cards with her because I really believe she was. She was very. Jalen Hurts, clearly.
Yeah, you see me? And
I believed it.
I don't even know how to play poker.
But you'd be good at it. But you'd be good at it. So, before you leave, can you look up at that camera? And I see one of the titles next to your name is assistant coach / recruiting coordinator.
Yeah.
So if you could reach out to the next great recruit that this university is going to have and tell them why they should come and join you and Coach Blue on this staff.
Listen, Kennesaw State University in Cobb County. Y'all come out here. It's going to continue to grow. Big boom. You want to make a big boom with Coach Blue? This is the place to do it. If I could take it back, Coach Blue is who I would want to play for. Come play for Coach Blue in these Owls, and let's come make some noise in this Conference USA.
Oh,
amen.
Can't wait to see you at the Convo Center.
Yeah.
And we can't let Coach Blue go without telling us about how Carrick gave us a player.
Oh, yeah.
He would kill me if I didn't let you tell
No,
that
shout
story,
out to
Coach.
Mr. Carrick Martin. One of the first people I met when I got the job here at KSU has really supported our program, and he did his big one with this one. So it was KSU Giving Day. We were riding on a golf cart with a young lady who was on a official visit from University of Memphis. So we're riding on the golf cart, and she was as a transfer. So we run into Mr. Carrick Martin, and he just pours it on about this beautiful place. We're out on the green, and the young lady was listening to it all and taking it all in, and we got our recruit.
Was
and
it
she
Carrick's
mentioned
golf cart? At his course?
No, we were on campus at the green, campus green.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And he happened to be out there on KSU Giving Day, and he told what a great place it was, and what it feels like to be a KSU Owl women's basketball player, and she bought it.
Well, she bought it because it's authentic. They always say, you got to have a 30-second elevator speech.
Yeah.
If you ever get caught in an elevator with somebody, what are you going to tell them? And that guy has been practicing his elevator speech for a long time.
He got it done.
It does come across very authentic because it is authentic.
He got it done. I mean, there's no place she says she'd rather be. So happy to get
Carrick's
that.
dad was
That's
my
awesome.
econ professor at Kennesaw Junior College in 1975.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so that's wild. Well, listen, we're so happy to have you guys on again, and we want you back, and we want you to know that you have an open invitation for any of your players.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
If they want to get some exposure being on air, we'd love to do that for
Well,
you.
Robin, Chuck, we appreciate you inviting us on. We always happy to come back and share what's going on in our program. You guys do a great job. We appreciate you.
Well, thank you.
We can't wait to see all of you at the Convo Center real soon.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate everybody coming out tonight to support the Owls, and we can't wait to see you next Wednesday night when Coach Keith Schunsel will be on telling us about the volleyball team's trip to Europe. So until then, y'all have one more big hooty-hoo. Hooty-hoo. See you next Wednesday.
Great job, guys. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
I got to talk more to Chris about my Georgia Eagles.
Uh-oh. No, I stole them. Big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked out.